What's up, guys? Welcome to the Crypto Savvy channel. I'm Craig, and has this all been a bear market rally for all markets? We're going to be taking a look at all markets here. We're going to be taking a look at silver, gold, oil, S&P, Dow Jones, you name it. We're going to check it out. I'm going to tell you what I'm expecting for the markets and why. My view has not changed in over 2 years. We're going to take a look at what's going on, and I'm going to show you why I do believe there's a good possibility that we still see lower lows coming for Bitcoin and all markets. Let's get into the charts, see what's going on, and here we are. This is the silver chart. Remember, silver's in a big wedge triangle, whichever you want to call it here, and I do not see this being bullish unless silver is able to cross this 25.24. Again, you guys know my silver target for 2 years has been 15.6 down to possibly, if the markets crash as hard as I think is possible. Now, that's not doom and gloom. For those of you doom and gloomers out there, that is great news if you play the markets correctly. So, what I'm looking for is a breakdown from this wedge or triangle, whichever you want to call it here, pennant. But I'm looking for a breakdown from here. And we have our targets, like I said, 15.6 to 7, $8, somewhere in there if the markets crash really hard. Gold, as you guys know, we were looking at this triple top here. And let me zoom out to the weekly chart here and show you my count. This is just a 5-wave structure, I believe, to be completed right here where the 5 just barely broke the 3. I do believe we come down further. As you can see, gold is struggling with 2,000. Again, we would have to break these highs and actually open and close a daily above this last high, which is around 20,000 or 2,081. So a daily open and close above there, then this can be scratched. But so far, this chart also being over 2 years old, I do think gold is just going to end up coming back down. Our first target's 1565, then we have 1431. If that breaks, it's very bad. NASDAQ. If you guys have been following along for any amount of time, none of these moves have surprised you. Even the move up for Bitcoin. We thought there could be possibly, I didn't think it'd go up as high as it went. We will take a look at that chart also. And one more thing before we continue, make sure you guys take a second out, smash that thumbs up, leave your comments below. The comments I would like to hear from you guys are, even the bullish ones that think we are going to continue higher, what would it take? Like, often I tell you guys, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. And according to the charts, there's some very bad news coming. Now, you'll hear people say that you cannot predict a black swan event. That's why they call it a black swan event. If you look back at the post or the pre-2020 videos, I was showing a massive drop, saying the exact thing. I don't know why or what would cause it, but it happened. So technically, you can say you can predict a black swan. Basically, I think it's just made up news, or they make something happen to blame it on, to blame the dump in the markets, when really they just dumped on your heads and they put out an excuse for it, right? Same people that control what's going on control the news, control the narrative, control the markets. So, NASDAQ, we've broken out of our channel here, and as you guys know, my target is around 12.4, 12.5, somewhere in this range is where I'm looking for. If it gets really, really bad, we do have lower targets. Again, I think there is a good possibility it gets really bad. Now let's take a look at the Dow Jones. The Dow broke out of our rising wedge here. Obviously, the markets are getting a little bounce today, but they dropped pretty hard over the last few days. I expect a bounce, right? But my next targets here are 31.5, 30,500, then 29.1, and then we have 27.34. And if things get really bad, well, you know the rest. Again, just name what you think if it does crash, right? Of course, none of this is financial advice, but put in the comments below what you think it'll be blamed on or what caused it, as they say. So really curious to hear what you guys have to say about that. Let me know. Here's the S&P. As you guys know, same thing, broke out of our rising channel. Target's around 37.75. If that breaks 32.91, then obviously, again, much, much lower prices, right? We'll also talk in the end of the video after we go over Bitcoin about when bubbles pop, how they pop, what bear market rallies look like, how high they can go. You're definitely going to want to stick around for those charts because I have some interesting add-ons to the bubble pop. All right, this is oil. As you guys know, once we break this bottom trend line, my next target is retesting this 62.70. Now, if you guys remember, way when we were above 120 is when I made this 62.70 target. We nailed it, came back up. I told you next time we break this trend line, we could actually, you know what, I'm going to put another target in there because that would be the next break of this. So let's do this. Let's put our targets. So right here between 25 and 35 is my low, right? About 62 is our next area to watch for a bounce. And then once this breaks, then continuation to the downside. DXY, I am still bullish on the DXY, guys. I mean, look at the big picture of the DXY. Looks extremely bullish to me. Again, as we've been talking about, we could go, if we're going to get one more pump in Bitcoin, which we'll talk about where that would be, and one more pump in the stock markets before the crash begins, I see the DXY possibly getting as low as 105. But remember, if we open and close the daily above this 106.9, I'm looking for 109 as my next target. Then we have much higher targets after that. None of this is new. I have not changed my opinion. I've not changed my analysis on the markets in over 2 years. We've been expecting all this, and I did tell you guys once there was a false bottom, which I believe 15.5 was the false bottom. Everyone would get extremely bullish and be calling for new all-time highs and start screaming about the halving. That is a narrative, in my opinion, guys. And it's a narrative they can use to rip the money out of your pockets. Now, this is the 10-year yield, right? This is on a 3-day chart. We have been working on breaking this. If you look at this dotted line here, there's two ways to look at this, right? I had this falling wedge, which the measured move of that is 7%. And as you guys know, I've been saying for a long time, until U.S. mortgage rates, that's 30-year mortgage rates, are above 10%. That's not the 10-year yield. That's U.S. house mortgage rates of 30-year mortgages. Until that's above 10%, I don't believe the bottom of any of these markets are in. We've seen it back in the 80s happen like that too. Let's take a look at this. So if you're looking at the wedge target, that's 7. And then if you're looking at this as a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, then we're looking at the 8.3 for the 10-year yield. I believe we are beating on this resistance. Once we get above, we may test it for support before continuing up, but it does look like it is ready for the 10-year to rally. If you guys are interested in trading, definitely check out the link below, Prime XBT. You can use my promo code SAVVY50. That will get you up to a $7,000 bonus to use towards your margins. SAVVY25 will get you 25% off your fees. You can use both the promo codes at the same time. This is Prime. You can trade Forex, gold, silver, oil, Apple, crypto, tons of things, all from one exchange. You can also trade it all against Bitcoin or however you want to do it. Definitely check them out, though. They are an awesome exchange. They don't trade against you like the other exchanges. Their orders fill. You don't get the scam wicks. Definitely check them out if you haven't already and use my promo codes for the benefits. Now, this video is back from, I believe this was, I want to say March of 2021, before it topped out at 65, right? It made this wick off distribution phase, and I've been showing you guys that it's doing the same thing here, the wick off distribution, and I can pull it up for you. And again, we could go just a tad bit higher. I don't think we will, but it is possible. But right here is the schematic. You can see how it does seem to be playing out perfectly. We'll see what happens up here. I do have a chance for it to go one step higher. So if you wanted to long here, which I don't recommend, but if you wanted to long here, you might be able to long to this target, and then I would be looking for shorts at that point, and I will let you guys know if I enter them shorts. But anyways, as you can see, it does seem to be playing out just like a normal distribution, and distribution is the big boys dumping on your heads as you buy into these little rallies, right? But if you look at this rising channel here, we've only had one touch at the top so far. So, but nevertheless, if we do get up here, we could get as high as this 3,700. It'd actually be more around the high 36s if it happens in the next few days. But I do think if we can get up to these levels, I will be putting in some massive shorts to come down for the test of the bottom here. And then if we come back down and break this bottom channel, right, that will get us down to a high volume node of 16.7. Might get a bounce there, maybe back up into the mid 20s before coming down. But either way, I do think we are going to see much lower lows in this market. This is the CME gaps. This is the CME chart. The CME chart is not open 24/7. It leaves gaps when the markets close. Our gaps below us. We had this gap at 35,320. We nailed it. Closed that gap, right? There's no more gaps above us. Our only other gaps are down here, 20.3, which that one's right here. Then we have an 11.2 gap over here. Then we have a 9,700 gap. Then we have a 7,600 gap and a 3,500 gap. Now this 9,700 gap can be seen in the daily chart. So this one, you go down to the 8 hour and you'll see the 35. So there's still a possibility that we could see that 35. But nevertheless, I believe we will see under 10K and this 97. I've always said 35 to 9,700 I think is when the true bottom will be. And we'll take a look at the bubble pop patterns and show you. So is this just a falling wedge here? Let's say we get a little bit higher. Well, then would it just be making a falling channel, right? But either way, this is still looking like a possible A, B, C, D, and looking for E. These charts have not changed. Again, this is the Sony bubble pop. It's been 20 years. Still hasn't reached its all-time high. But Sony doesn't have halvings. Whatever. Market is a market, guys. So let's look at the low here. Right there. The false bottom. And then it had a 165% rally. Right? You think these people were extremely bullish right here? Hell yes, they were. They were extremely bullish, I'm sure, thinking it was going to go back up because they still had the exuberance of this up here, right? Everybody was super excited. And what did it do? It came down to make much lower lows, returning to where the bubble began, right? Same over here. Bitcoin's bubble pop, same type deal. Oh, well, look at that. We had a 130% rally. Could it go to 160? Possibly. But that means nothing in the big picture, guys. Where did bubbles return? Back to where they began. Where did Bitcoin begin? Back down in here, below 10K. All right, here's the Nintendo bubble pops. Been over 15 years. Still hasn't reached its all-time high. As you can see, it had a false bottom here. Big bear market rally. 67% was Nintendo's bubble pop. And Amazon I've been showing you for a long time, but as you can see right here, bubbles return to where they began. Because all these people I bought up here, they were selling on each one of these pumps, dumping into, right? The smart money dumping into the rallies. Same type position we're in now, I do believe. Like I said, if we get a little bit higher, 36, maybe even 37 if it takes a while, but probably the high 36s if we have more of a rally here before continuing down. Let's take a look at Amazon. Look at that. Return to where it began. These are all weekly charts, guys. So as you can see, Amazon, false bottom right here. We've talked about it forever, right? False bottom, come back up, 132% rally. What is Bitcoin rose? Around 128%, I believe. Yeah, 128, 130, somewhere in that range. But as you can see, it was 130. It doesn't look like it because it was a lower price, but that's 132% rally. False bottoms are followed by a big rally. Everyone gets bullish. They buy into the pump. They get dumped on before the true bottom comes in a bubble pop, right? This is what I'm trying to get across to you guys. I hope you understand it. If you believe we are still in a popping bubble, hit number 1. If you don't, hit number 2. Let me know your thoughts below. And here's another one. We are making lower highs and lower lows still. Nothing's changed there, guys. I do believe this market is going to wreck a lot of bulls. It already has, right? There's still people that bought way up here in the 40s, 50s, and 60s when everyone was telling them to buy because the bull market was in. $100,000 Bitcoin was on its way. We've heard this crap over and over and over from the same people. They were so wrong up here, and they're still screaming it again, acting like they are some kind of smart people in the markets. They are going to get you absolutely demolished if I'm correct. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. But do I think I'm wrong? I do not. Markets don't lie, guys. I truly believe Bitcoin is just another market. I do believe that all the crap coins are going to get washed out. I've been talking about this forever, and I do believe it's coming in a big way. Bubbles pop to get rid of all the garbage. Bubble is still popping, in my opinion. Everyone's getting bullish on the rally. That's great for the people that actually take profits, but for a lot of you out there don't understand markets, and you'll just think it's going to keep going up and up and up, and you'll not take profits, and then you'll be in the negative. Be careful, guys. Trade safe. Use stops. I will see you in the next one. Have a good day.